Okay, so we've seen this accessibility checker before. When we click it, it tells us if there's major accessibility issues that are detected. So I'm just going to show you some examples of common errors, and then some that won't be caught through that accessibility checker. If I click through, notice if I click through these, it changes, and it's going to be a different part of where my cursor is. It's not going to always be the same one, but let's change the background. And so now let's change the text a little bit. Okay, so I can't read that. It has the fail, so you can see that that's not a good contrast, right? Our contrast should be visible, readable. So if I use red, okay, so it's saying that red on light blue is okay. I can open this check accessibility. This is another way to kind of, as you're working, do the accessibility check. So it's checking on my links. They're good. My image, I have one image that has alt text. My headings are all in the correct order. So then those are good. One thing that's usually mistaken is the tables. So if I'm going to insert a table, so let's say I'm going to make a calendar. I know this isn't a place that it might be, but let's just say for practice sake. So I can have a week here. Let's say I'm doing the topic and then the due date. So now I can give some information. So if I do my accessibility checker, it's going to catch some things that aren't there, right? It's highlighting what's wrong. It needs a caption. So all tables need captions. Apply, go to the next one, and your tables need headers. Sometimes you have a header row, so that's the top, header column, that's the side, sometimes it's both. Now, what I see a lot of times are tables inserted without headers. So if I do an accessibility checker now, it's going to ask me for the caption again. So I need to add a caption. But now it's going to ask me for the headers. Well, there aren't really headers. So that means this setup isn't going to be useful. It's not going to be accessible through the accessibility checker. And when you're using head tables, you should have headers. So those are just some kind of things to avoid. One last common error is links and the text for links. So sometimes it's easy to just paste the link. Now for this link, right, we could read the words www.washington.edu, right? These are actual words, so that's okay. I mean, it works. A person using a screen reader, right, it would just spit out gobbledygook, but it's not preferred. Definitely don't want to use anything like click here, because then if the word here was a link, right, the screen reader, the person wouldn't know what here was going to take them to, right? So the link should be able to stand alone. We don't know, there's not enough information to know what here is. Same with link. So using the word link to use links, also not accessible. Now if I click the accessibility checker, it's not going to check it, but our design tools, if you have design tools, it's going to tell you link check. So, right, these, it's going to tell you, are not good words to use for links. It's saying this one's okay. Like I said, it has words. So if I use a link like this, where it's all kinds of words, now these are words, but they don't make sense. That's not going to be helpful. If it's the ones like for your Confer Zoom, if it has all of the numbers and the letters all put together, right, that's not going to work. That's not going to be helpful for students to be able to use or understand if they're using a screen reader. So what you want to do is actually say where you're going. So instead of this, I'm going to use words, Washington accessibility information. So maybe the title or a description of where the link is going to take you if someone clicked there. The Washington University accessibility information. Okay, that's more informative than the link, or that just plain URL address.